Two of the three areas that Kathryn and I spend a lot of time on have to do with sustainability. One of them is energy, one of them is food. And there's a real emotional reason why that's true. One of the questions that we asked ourselves, and we've actually sat around with our 4 kids around the dinner table and asked is, if we were 100 years from now and looked back, what are the things that we didn't do? What are the things we were doing that you just go, those people were so blind, they were so immoral, it was so wrong. So if you, in 2012, it's very easy to sit here and say in 1825, you mean you owned other human beings? That's really an amazing fact. That's just a moral blind spot that's just amazing. We were asking ourselves, what is that going to be 100 years from now when they look back at us and say, wow, that's just a shocking lack of sensitivity. And the question is, are we screwing up the world? Are we doing things that in 100 years they're going to be paying for in a very painful way that we aren't thinking about, or that we know about but we refuse to acknowledge? That we know somewhere in the back of our head there's something very wrong here, but we're too tied up in the moment or too invested in what's going on now to make the changes that are necessary so that in 100 years you're not one of the people who they go back and say, well, at least, you know, Kat and Tom were violent abolitionists. They understood there was a moral issue here and decided to do something about it. And that at a minimum, that seems like what you should do. When we asked ourselves that question, the answer that came back is, if the world is that much harsher a place for hundreds of millions of people, and it's something that is preventable, how could you not be working to prevent it? Isn't that your minimum or moral obligation?